I'm Svarnan Sen, Royal Editor at GB News, and joining me today is Royal Commentator Richard Fitzwilliams, and this is a GBN Originals interview. Good morning, Richard. The first thing I wanted to
Good
speak to
morning.
you about today is Prince Harry's lawyer named Kate and William in court documents that was submitted to the High Court in their battle against A&L. I wanted to ask, does this risk damaging Prince Harry's reconciliation efforts with King Charles after Kate and William were named publicly in a legal feud?
Well, I think everyone was very surprised at that. The reports indicated that Harry had not been aware of this, but again, so many briefings are taking place that frequently you don't know what the facts are. As we move towards this court case, so we will be able to judge whether anything is included with the links to it, rather. But I would strongly suspect that, well, regarding relationships, they haven't got one, and this would certainly not improve any possible reconciliation with the royal family. I mean, again, I don't think there's going to be one, because after Harry saw King Charles, subsequent to that, there were several events that went off extremely successfully, and the meeting he trained, and then he went to the media, the Guardian, and then subsequently there have been all forms of briefing. So, I mean, at the moment, that would only any link with William would obviously infuriate, but I don't see any form of reconciliation. It seems to me that what happened when he saw his father was more than enough. That had worked on for a long time, at least according to reports. But equally, considering what happened subsequently, I absolutely despair of things at the moment.
Yeah, and just building on that then, is his current non-existent relationship with William the main thing that's holding back Harry from being able to build bridges with the royal family and possibly find a way where he could integrate Meghan as well?
Well, it was very possibly, but the answer has to be no. The reason for that is absolute fear. The royal family believe that the Sussexes have a relationship with the media, which is deeply destructive. We saw this on Harry and Meghan documentary for docu-series for Netflix. We saw this Spare, those are the best known liberties. But what has happened 19 months ago, when Harry last from, he went on Good Morning America, not to reach confidences, but to talk about families and nobles generally. And it's their relationship with the press, the interview with the Guardian, with the pro-Republic newspaper, and what Harry said in it, even though it appeared to be played down by some of the back elements in the press, was absolutely defrauding them. Nothing spare, and yes, he said that his father became prioritized, but that has to be a two-way street. The Sussexes, they want reconciliation. Harry wants to reconcile properly with his father in a way that would be accepted. Not to mention the wider with the royal family, he has to keep away from the media. It seems they cannot do it.
Yeah, and then at the weekend we saw Meghan making a very public appearance in Paris. Is this now part of Harry and Meghan expanding into Europe? We've seen Harry do a few engagements across Europe as well. He's obviously visited Ukraine. Will we see them doing engagements that are closer to the UK, even if Meghan has a reluctance to actually come back to the UK?
Well, I certainly don't see Meghan coming with the UK with a huge minus rating polls. I notice, however, that both of them have a plus rating in Times poll taken short while ago in the United States. So obviously they have a great deal of hope for that. So far as Meghan's visit to Paris, I knew she's a friend of the creative director of Balenciaga. Now that made perfect sense for her to appear because she was actually appearing with A-listers. The Sussexes have a huge limit when it comes to their people, for example, appear on Meghan podcasts or who will for example, appear on the Blood Meghan, the cookery service, which, putting it mildly, appear to be very disappointing. They don't have A-listers. They don't attract. And in Paris, I mean, there was Meghan that winter, there was Anne Hathaway, Baz Luhrmann, completely different situation. And there were two problems. First problem was that she wore, I said, a disastrous dress that looked like somebody's shroud. That's just my opinion. But the second problem was apparently filmed returning from the event. She filmed in the vicinity of the tragic crash which Diana died in 1997. And whereas that video has been taken down, it was extremely insensitive. It should never have been included. And frankly, if you are doing PR, you can't suddenly put box pops up, which could be, in this case, was a disastrous mistake. I accept that it wasn't intended, but the Sussexes, given their profile, and they have a lot of pull, I mean, that's luckily got the event worldwide publicity, nonetheless have to take great care of what they put up. And this was a bad mistake and something that Harry would not have appreciated.
Yeah, so sources close to Meghan stressed that there was no intention behind that, and that they were actually left furious at publications or people on social media trying to make that link. But you feel that despite this, it was a bad mistake and it needs to be addressed.
I accept totally that it wasn't intended to be hurtful for this at all. Of course she wouldn't. The point is, it should not, if you're in the position that she's in, or at the Sussexes are in, they can't put up what they like. What you should do in the course of a media strategy, remember how carefully they're supposed to plan a media strategy. You can't help feeling sometimes it's absolutely disastrous, and I wonder if they listen to it. But you simply cannot put up material that hasn't been checked. And material also, I say, it gave rise to a lot of comment. And frankly, proof of the mistake was that it was taken down. Of course it was. As for the coverage of the event, who she met and so forth, I mean, that was powerful, of course. That was, I thought, a very good idea. But that video most certainly wasn't, and it certainly wasn't checked with any PR team.
Yeah, so do you think Meghan needs to change her social media strategy, put it through a PR agency, or have it vetted by people in her team? I suppose she'd feel that risks damaging her authenticity when it comes to posting online.
I don't know. I don't. I think that they've so often done their own thing. Look at Harry going on the BBC in May. I mean, it was supposed reportedly to be about 8 or 10 minutes. It turned out to be over half an hour, and it was very erratic. So I don't think that the Sussexes, sometimes I think they depart from the strategy. I mean, you have a large number of people also leaving their employ. Meghan have always strongly denied any bullying charges. The facts are, I do suspect that they are demanding to work for. Facts are, however, that it is completely unclear when they follow the advice of their PR team and when they don't. Who would have suggested putting an interview in The Guardian after a successful week like that? Makes no sense to me at all.
Okay, Rich, we're going to do some quick fire questions now. How important to Britain's identity is the royal family?
I think the royal family is synonymous with Britain itself. It's certainly something that is highly respected. It has a huge worldwide profile. It's linked with the ability to manage ceremonial in a way, and we saw this with Trump's state visit most recently, that no other country can match, and has a source of national unity, going back over 1,000 years, having an important constitutional position, and also cachet when it comes to charity, and as well as that is the tourist aspect. It's a huge bargain.
Would Britain lose global political standing without the royal family?
I don't think Britain would be Britain without the royal family. I think globally, everybody not only knows what it is, Buckingham Palace and the White House are the two best things in the world, and it's also the coronation of 200 countries represented. But if you get that big of one value for money, it's in that.
Does the royal family need fundamental change following Fitzwilliams' statement last week that he will be looking to change the royal family when he's king?
Prince William was talking about gradual change, and gradual change is what you get with every monarch. Certainly when he ascends the throne, he'll be much younger than ever before, and King Charles was. Of course, there will be alterations, perhaps in the use of royal homes, perhaps in access when it comes to the public, and certainly geopolitically, there has been change to maximize soft power, which is tremendously important. And also, yes, hugs and selfies occasionally, there's a certain amount of protocol, but things alter with the years as they will with him.
What is the biggest threat to the royal family in its current form?
The biggest threat to the royal family is the fact that it scored very low among the young people. Now, that is partly because of a very destructive campaign against it by Harry and Meghan, and that went worldwide, and that is one of the main reasons. Also, younger people have always tended to be more Republican in some ways, but less established. Things, however, are not likely to go to the stage where you get, for example, a political party will absolutely thrilled to get anything like the support the monarchy still gets, which is something approaching 2/3. So, as I say, young people, that is where the emphasis should lie. When it comes to PR, they use PR pretty well.
How can the royal family make sure the next generation of Britons are royalists?
I think that you can never be absolutely sure, and people are changing. I mean, if you look politically, the situation has altered even since the last election. It's quite extraordinary. But the royal family is in for the long haul. It goes back over 1,000 years by the civil war of Cromwell. So what you're looking at is an institution that has shown that it has a remarkable staying power. It won't convert all the future generations. But remember also that king has numerous realms, and I suspect some of them may become republics, but so far as Britain's concerned, will always be a monarchy.
Is social media allowing the royals to reach more people than ever before?
Social media is definitely allowing the royals to reach more people, and also you see an example of this in the King's speech, the King's Christmas address. I mean, that reaches huge numbers of people. Not that people watch it when it goes out necessarily now, but it's the way the media and the way the royals use the media to disseminate their message. You can also do a tremendous amount of charity regarding this, and this is what the royals do, and that is absolutely excellent. Also, the use of soft power in the on geopolitically how significant the royal are.
Can the royal family's visibility on social media replace in-person royal engagements?
Oh, no, you absolutely have to have the royals out and about. Queen Elizabeth always said, must be seen to be believed, and that's tremendously important. You've got to have the personal touch, and that's when people appreciate it. Of course, social media can complement that, and social media can spread news of it, and of course, clips of it. And of course, sometimes people can take selfies with royals. Not too often. The Queen Elizabeth once said to Michelle Obama, royal protocol is rubbish. Well, not all of it, but some of it. Equally, the whole point is to maximize social media. On the whole, palace press officers do that very well. But of course, when there are disasters, then you see them worldwide.
Great. Thanks for speaking to GBN Originals today, Richard.
A great pleasure, anytime.